What up, you two? How are you guys doing today? This is Bryan and Bryan. Before we get going, please like and subscribe. That'll help us do more things in the future. Today, we're going to be talking about to lift or not to lift, what we do in gymnastics and when we do it. We have Bryan Kaiser, who's I believe is the expert in the sport on this.
Hey, how y'all doing? Looking forward to a good discussion on this one.
This is going to be great. So we're jumping right in. So Bryan, do you lift and do you guys do weights or what do you guys do in the gym and when?
Well, yeah, this summer is going to be a little bit different. We brought in Gene Watson, and Gene's been doing summer strength program for many years, which he actually developed, and he lifts weights. Surprisingly, I know that there's several coaches out there, especially junior national and national team coaches, that do not like weightlifting. They just do not. They don't buy into it. I don't think they understand it is the bigger problem. But they don't buy into it. They don't like it. They don't use it. Gene, however, learned back when he visited, actually went to Russia and visited some different training facilities there, learned that they were using weights and very specific weight training and doing it in a way where it was very beneficial, especially in the off season, like the summer months, like what we're heading into right now. And it's kind of a personal choice, I guess, from the coach. It also is, does your facility have weights? It's an expense if you don't have them. If not, you have to go find a facility, and then you have to get your team to buy into going there, which is another task all in itself. But the question of whether to lift or not to lift really comes down to, well, what's your plan for the summer? What strength goals do you have?
Yeah, Bryan. It's all for me. It's all like periodization. It's all phases. You've seen my laid out periodization sheet. So for what I do, I'm not like a huge fan of weights, and I am a huge fan of doing weights. For areas that we tend to be very weak at. Like I think in men's gymnastics, we all tend to have like hunched over shoulders. So I tend to work the back a lot with weights. I also tend to, do a lot of flange work with some light weights. Anything that an athlete can't successfully do with their own body weight yet, I tone down and use weights on.
Right. Well, the big I guess misconception is if you lift weights, you're going to get big and you're going to be bulky and you're going to look like a bodybuilder. Mm-hmm. And honestly, that has been disproven in many sports. But in our sport, there's still a faction of people that believe if you lift weights, the guys are going to get bulky and then they're going to lose flexibility and then they won't be able to do gymnastics because they're going to be little miniature bodybuilders. Mm-hmm. Now, if you've seen any gymnasts that haven't lifted weights, or maybe they lifted a little bit of weights, but as the gymnast matures, when we get to the level 10 and the elite levels, I'm sorry, most of those guys look like little miniature bodybuilders anyways. The sport just develops the body and the musculature structure in some ways better than any other sport. Even bodybuilding itself, it builds the body very symmetrically. The only problem is we don't work enough legs. Most gymnasts are heavy up top and light on the bottom, and purposely so. That's the purpose. Our sport is that way. We don't want heavy legs. We don't do a lot of powerful pushing and everything. Everything is done very dynamically. So the legs really come into play as having a quick, fast reaction to things, not a enduring push or shove or like a baseball or a football where you're having to do the quick sprints and then dig in and using a lot of leg power to create the force of hitting the ball and all that kind of stuff. But lifting weights is not going to make people big. It's not going to make them inflexible. It will enhance your program if you do it properly. And I know our friend Spencer over in Louisiana at Gymnastics, etc. He's been waiting for me to do this so I can send him all the stuff that I'm going to give out for free on the Bryan and Bryan show. So I'm going to attach some things in our blogs, and you can go get those. And it's different strength plans, different things using weights. And Bryan, I'm sure you have some things that you do in the gym that aren't weight related, but build strength as well. And those kind of things also we can put out and let people know, hey, this is what we do. Maybe it'll work in your gym, maybe it won't. But whether you're going to lift or you're not going to lift, really comes down to what are your goals and what's in your training plan. Like Bryan said, he doesn't have a lot of weights in his. He has specific areas he's going to use the weights, but not so much as an overall general plan.
So, do you do weights year round? Do you have certain phases that you go through, or how do you do this?
Actually, honestly, Gene has the guys doing weights once a week, and it's usually the weights that are specific to planche and Maltese work. Mm-hmm. And it does it very specifically, very intentionally. It's something that I started using way back in the early 2000s and late 90s with the guys that I had that were pretty good on rings. And I thought I was a genius when I figured this out, and I figured out that other people already knew about it, and I wasn't such a genius. But it felt good for a minute to feel like I was a genius. But yeah, very specific weights we do, and he does that once a week all year round. He's actually shifted now to more shoulder work and inverted cross type work, where the guys are doing very specific and intentional weights, mostly with dumbbells. They're done with dumbbells, not going over. I don't think we go over 35 or 40 pounds on our dumbbells. Some of the guys, we have a couple that they're getting up to 40, maybe 45 pounds. But you're talking about 1 or 2 reps, not they're not repping out 45 pounds for 15 or 20 reps. But they do a specific pyramid up and pyramid down technique, and it's been working very well. And it's also helping protect some of the areas where push-ups and, like you said, rear delts and the back, we neglect that upper part. So the gymnast is always walking around hunched because twisting, flipping, everything's done in a hollow position. So this kind of pulls the shoulders back, gives them a better physique, and also helps them physically as they move. Maybe gymnastics is not going to be their end game. Maybe they're going to move on and maybe they're going to do bodybuilding or something. But fixing this problem where their shoulders are rolled forward is actually really good, because they'll inherently have back problems and neck problems from having to hunch for too much. So we use weights all year round. What's interesting, Bryan, is I know that people think that Glassman and Castro were geniuses when they came up with CrossFit. But the high intensity training, as it's been called, active training, CrossFit, this has been around for a long time. And I actually used a lot of that type of training, and I encourage people to use that type of workout of the day, or the WOD, in the off season, because you have time to do it. And that particular style of workout, because we aren't an anaerobic sport, we're not an aerobic sport. I don't believe in the gymnast running 5 miles a day or doing any of this, because the aerobic capacity really doesn't benefit us much in the anaerobic area. But the anaerobic benefits to CrossFit that also are coupled with the aerobic benefits of CrossFit are really, really powerful to get your athletes up. And, someone told me they were worried about the athletes gaining weight. I mean, do you ever worry about your athletes gaining weight?
Not unless they have a diet problem.
Well, I had one of the coaches say, "Well, you're gonna add too much weight. They're gonna add too much weight." And I was like, "Okay, well, let's talk about weight. Yeah. Weight is not, especially when you talk about the body. Let's talk about 150 pounds. 150 pounds is not always 150 pounds. I know the insurance companies like to just give it across the board that you weigh 150 pounds or you're over their chart by so many pounds, then you're fat, you're out of shape, you're whatever. But weight is not weight. You can have a 150-pound guy that's totally flabby and useless, couch potato dude, or you can have a 150-pound guy that's lean, mean, and has a BMI of like 4%, 6%,
Mm.
and you're not talking about the same 150 pounds.
Yeah.
So we talk about we talk about weight. You really have to know what you're talking about, and you're talking about adding weight. It's really adding muscle is really, really tough, especially in any format where you're not going to have the guys eating, like you said, the diet part. If you're not going to have your guys eating like 5 to 6,000 calories a day in a conjunction with their weightlifting, they're probably not going to gain a significant amount of weight from lifting weights.
Yeah, it's like you have a 150-pound athlete, but they can only push half their body weight, or kid, they can only push half their body weight. Then you have the 150-pound athlete who can, push 300 pounds. So your strength to weight ratio is, 2 to 1.
Off the
That's what you're
chart,
looking
yeah.
for. So it
Ex-
perfect for the sport.
exactly. So, Brian, I put this stuff down on paper, and I've got it. And I did, and I think it's still being used. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in the ITP, a lot of this stuff is still being used that I wrote
Yeah.
way back in 2000. And I did a piece with Hideo Mizoguchi, Coach Mizo, where he gave some philosophy on a way of weightlifting, and then I gave basically a weightlifting plan or program that periodized it out for the whole season. Basically, gave ideas on how to do it, what I was doing. I didn't tell everybody how I was using the exercises I gave, not specifically. I have on the show, I told them that I do a high intensity type workout, but and I didn't give that. But I'm going to give away a number of things coming up. So, guys, like and subscribe, and check out our blog. Stay posted, because we're going to be giving that out. And also, should we let the audience know we got some things cooking for the summer?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, Bryan and Bryan are working with our state chairman, and hopefully we'll get out to some gyms this summer to help people start and build specifically boys programs, using either the JD or the new Excel format, but how to start a boys program in your gym. We're also working a little bit with some of the people to experiment on how some of the Ninja Warrior and the parkour and different things can fit in and help build those programs. Haven't specifically figured out the marriage between those yet, but I know that our friend Jay Molina out at Star Center in Austin, he's using that. He's got a number of boys in his gym that come in and do Ninja Warrior class, and they love it. And he's gotten a couple that come over to do gymnastics from there. So some of it's just getting the kids in the gym and letting them see that gymnastics isn't for girls. It's actually the hardest sport in the world for men, and it does provide a lot of ancillary benefits. If you're not, maybe gymnastics is not going to be your long-term thing. Maybe that's not the end goal. Maybe you don't play football, baseball, basketball, soccer. It's great when you're a kid, because the strength it builds is unprecedented and can't be duplicated in any other sport that I know of.
Bryan, if I think if anybody has a gym that they're trying to build a boys program, feel free to PM us or comment below. Let us know that, hey, you want us to come to your gym, you want us to come help you out. That would give us some good ideas, some good contacts.
Yeah, and we also have a program we're putting together to help train the coaches. So yep. It's a full training program, and it'll be available. What do you think? Late this summer, midsummer, beginning of the summer?
Hopefully, well, at this rate, midsummer.
Midsummer, okay.
Vacations.
Yeah, vacation. Can't forget about that. When is that? You got that coming up. It's like right around the corner.
In the next month. So on the 26th, I believe.
And I bet you and the wife are looking forward to that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've got to wait until July for mine. So
yeah.
But anyways, it's a lot of good stuff coming up. Also, Bryan, I've talked to Greg Grillett over in Louisiana, over in New Orleans, and I'm actually going to get him on next Wednesday to talk about pitless training on a little segment that I think will be pretty cool called Winning Wednesday.
Oh, that'll be
And
fun.
yeah, and we'll get him on, and maybe you'll do it some weeks, maybe I'll do it, and then we can bounce back and forth and have some fun with it. But it couldn't fit Greg into a Friday show because these are pretty. We're trying to keep them short, even though we kind of run over sometimes. But I got Greg on Wednesday next week, and I'll be putting out his blog. But it's on pitless training, and I know a lot of us have pits, but I mean, it's like the weightlifting conversation. Do you have weights? Do you lift? Do you don't lift? Do you go to a facility?
I was pitless for the first half of my career, like up to the last. I didn't have a pit until the last 5 years.
Really? So
Yeah,
you have a lot of experience with this too.
not
I guess
fun.
I've been spoiled. I've had a pit.
Hmm.
I've had a pit since I came over to work with Tim in 1993.
Hmm.
So yeah, I guess all these years I'm kind of spoiled to having that safety net there. But I'm looking forward to that conversation and getting some good tips because some of the stuff I've learned that transitioning out of the pit is kind of difficult. So learning how people do it without the pit totally will be really good on helping even helping me with the transition out of the pit.
Yeah.
It's like the old spotty belt. Remember the spotty belts? I
Mhm.
mean, most people don't use them anymore, but old spotty belts, getting the kid out of the spotting belt was a
Nightmare.
major project.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
cool. Let's wrap it up and we'll send it out to everybody and look forward to the pitless training next Wednesday. And then we'll have a good segment for you next week. We've been busy working on getting our summer ready, and of course Brian's getting ready for vacation on top of it. So yeah, he's very happy about that. And we got a number of things. So you like what we're doing? Like, subscribe, let us know if you want us to come out to your gym and help you. The state is funding some of these activities for the summer. We're trying to be very intentional with and purposeful with the money and direction we're going with that. So make sure that it's really something we can do and really something you want to commit to getting into your gym. But let us know if we can come out and help. And also, if you got a topic that you would like us to cover, like maybe you're struggling with, maybe it's not training, maybe it's something in the business of gymnastics, maybe it's something in your marketing of gymnastics, maybe it's something in your preschool program, your girls program, your trampoline and tumbling program. Let us know, and we'll get if we're not expert in it, because we're not expert in everything, but we do know a lot of folks, and we can get them on the show and get them on Winning Wednesday, and get the information out to you and help you build and develop your program better and better. Bryan, any final words?
Have a great weekend, guys.
Perfect. Hey, and if you're puzzled about lifting, just decide you're going to lift or you're not going to lift. It's not that hard.
And be intentional.
That's it. The biggest thing is, and we've covered that in the planning, be intentional. You got to plan. All right, guys, we'll see you. Have a great weekend.
Peace.